and has a PhD in neurosensory rehabilitation. Since Flo began teaching cranial techniques in the mid-1990s, she has emerged as a pioneer in craniosomatic therapy. As a result of her clinical experience and research, she developed a new manual therapy technique, facilitated pathways intervention, the topic of her doctoral dissertation. She has a clinical practice in Tampa and teaches this very effective therapy internationally. Tonight, she is presenting her 5th speech, project number 5, from the Competent Communicator Manual. The theme of project number 5 is Your Body Speaks. So the focus is on stance, movement, gesture, facial expressiveness, and making eye contact. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech. The topic tonight is Kids and Kittens, What's Not to Love? Please welcome Flo Barber Hancock, Kids and Kittens, What's Not to Love?
February is a month when our thoughts often turn to love. St. Valentine can probably be given some credit for this, but the advertisers probably get a lot more credit. And if you've ever had kids and kittens, maybe you know there's a lot of love going around, not just in February. This started innocently enough. I had a cat, and then I had a little girl, and then I had another little girl. And how many of you have had a young kid under your roof at some time? Some hands? Yeah. And how many of you have had a four-legged pet under your roof at one time? Or maybe all of those at one time? Well, there I was. One cat, 2 little girls, and then another cat came into our lives, and things got more interesting. It wasn't just the everyday things all the time. Sometimes it was. They mostly got along well. 2 little girls, 2 little cats. They played well together. They read well together. That's if you can count a cat laying across your book as the cat reading. And then, of course, there was dress up. And when little girls have a cat, they want to dress it up. I don't know if little boys do that or not, but little girls do. They think it's another doll. So they would be trying to put on the dresses and trying to put on the little hats. And sometimes the cats put up pretty well with this sort of thing. Sometimes not so much. And the cat would go whoosh up to a high spot far out of the reach of little girls. Then they'd have to go find some less exciting thing to play. And then there were the escapes. Our cats were generally inside cats, but they did get some supervised outside playtime. Out on the deck, out in back of the house, in the not so manicured backyard, but there were woods out there. And sometimes one or both of those cats would go whoop, away, off to investigate those exciting looking woods. And the girls would have to go after them. They would be so worried. Oh, mommy, what's going to happen to our little Boosh? What's going to happen to Sasquatch? And they would go out there. Boosh, Boosh, kitty, baby Boosh, come home. Sasquatch, where are you, little Bigfoot? Come home. And they'd go looking under the bushes. They go looking in the neighbor's yard. They go looking up in the trees. Cats were hiding. They were off there somewhere in the woods, and they weren't just quite ready to come home yet. And after all that pleading, they'd get frustrated. Boosh, you're out there somewhere. Get home. Sasquatch, where have your big feet taken you? Get home now. Still no kitty cats coming out of the woods. So So then they'd go the food route. They'd get the dry food and they'd put it in that metal bowl, the cat's favorite tuna treats. They'd take the pan out there, shake, 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 rattle, 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 rattle. Kitty, kitty, it's dinner time. Come home, dinner, dinner, dinner. Well, maybe the cats came then, maybe they came later. Sooner or later, they would make it home. And then, of course, there was lots of hugs and cuddles and kisses and, oh, you came home. And what's not to love about a couple little girls cuddling their little cats all safely back home? It was sweet. And then there were those escapes that had consequences. So one day, maybe it was in February, we noticed that maybe there had been a little too much February lovin's out there because Miss Booge had a little baby bump. Well, a few weeks later, there was two little girls, very curious. They were watching and looking and taking everything in when in a nice towel-lined box in the closet, Miss Booge produced one kitten, and then another, and another. And she about had them licked clean, and here came a fourth one. So our family size had just doubled. Now we had 4 little kittens, and 2 cats, and 2 girls. Well, they did well, and of course in a few weeks their eyes were open and they were starting to explore outside their birthing box, and they were climbing up on stuff and tumbling over. And the girls thought it was wonderful. They had all these new little playmates, and this mommy thought, am I going to go crazy? Because they were running down the stairs and chasing across the living room, and then they go chasing up the stairs and down the stairs and all around the house. Well, as rambunctious and fun as that was, it did get a bit old to have 6 cats in the house. So 3 of the kittens went to new homes. Delco stayed. Delco was the first one out of the box. He got his name because he was like the Delco battery that never stops. So Delco became a permanent part of the household, and I had 2 girls and 3 cats and lots of hugs and kisses and lots of dear little girls loving up on their cats. And I really wish I had had some little microphone speaker bug on Booge, because when my girl got to high school and she had a bad day, she'd come in the door, drop her books, scoop up the cat, and go right out to the back porch. And I bet that cat heard all kinds of confessions that I wish I'd had an ear on. But they grew up, the cats grew up, and it was a wonderful time that I remember. Lots of love with kids and kittens, and I wouldn't have traded those years for anything, not even with the stinky litter boxes.